In what was the first El Clasico of the season between two sides that simply love to hate one another, Real Madrid registered a 3-1 win over host Barcelona at the Camp Nou. Fede Valverde scored the opening goal of the game, but the youngster's effort was cancelled out by Ansu Fati. Clément Lenglet was then adjudged to have fouled Sergio Ramos, with the Real Madrid captain scoring from the spot, and Luka Modric scored in the dying minutes to put the game beyond the Catalan giants. However, just like pretty much every El Clasico between these two giants, this one wasn't without any controversy, with Barcelona manager Ronald Koeman not pleased by the refereeing put on show. But then again, what is a Clasico without some controversy, right? Although Ansu Fati at the age of 17 became the youngest goal scorer in this encounter's history, most of the focus was on the lengthy VAR decision that eventually went Sergio Ramos's way. Juan Martinez initially did not point to the spot when Clément Lenglet pulled Ramos's shirt, but after reviewing the footage again, awarded the visitors the spot kick. In the backdrop of Koeman's comments, which we'll talk about in a bit, Barcelona had two penalty appeals turned down, one for a Rafael Varane challenge on Lionel Messi, and then a possible handball from the France international. Following the game, Koeman was not in a good mood and laid it out on the refereeing decisions that went against his team. "I don't understand VAR. I think it's only used to make decisions against Barca," said Koeman, whose side have only picked up 7 points from 5 games. "You always get shirt tugs like that in the area, and I think Ramos makes a foul on Lenglet first. There's a tug of the shirt, but not enough to make him fall behind as he did. For me, it's not a penalty. We have had 5 matches and VAR has only been used to go against Barca. It's never gone our way. The decision had a big influence on the final result because we were playing well up to the penalty." Ramos, on the other hand, claimed that it was a clear penalty. Ramos said, "I think it was a very clear penalty. He tugged my shirt when I was jumping for the ball and it's clear as daylight. It's unfair to criticise a referee for a decision as clear as that." So what's our take on the incident? Well, VAR has been placed in the game's regulations for a reason. While most of us aren't big fans of this new rule, the fact of the matter is that it does help referees a lot when it comes to making critical decisions and trying to stay as far away from controversy as possible. Had there been no VAR available, we would have been hearing about how Barcelona always get away with things, and Zinedine Zidane would have been talking like a manager possessed in the post-match analysis. But then again, you can't disregard the importance of VAR, even though it does end up being way too precise when it comes to helping referees make a decision. A bit of your elbows crossing the line and you're offside. It's definitely a new world, but at the end of the day, VAR is here to stay. However, we do sympathise with Koeman. In hindsight, the referee should have taken the aid of VAR in order to find out whether Varane was in the wrong or not. Whatever the outcome, it might have helped avoid controversy. Due to this result, Real Madrid are now on top of the La Liga standings with 13 points from 6 games, while Barcelona trail their bitter rivals by 6 points. One of the most eye-catching things about this result was that Zidane has not lost any of his 6 games as a manager at Camp Nou. He's won 3 times and drawn 3 times. So, you could understand the French tactician when he called the game perfect for his side. In the build-up of the game, Real Madrid weren't in a good place. They'd lost at home to newly promoted Cadiz, and then suffered a shock 3-2 defeat at the hands of Shakhtar Donetsk in their opening Champions League game of the season. In fact, there were rumours circulating in Spain that Zidane had just a few games left to save his job in Madrid. Therefore, it was extremely important for Madrid to start the game brightly, and they did that when Benzema fed Valverde for the Uruguayan to open the scoring. But if Madrid thought that they were in the ascendancy, they were wrong. Fati came up with an almost immediate response. The game was 1-1 inside the opening 8 minutes. The last time this happened was in a Clasico encounter way back in 1940. Following the equaliser, Barcelona seemed to be taking control of the encounter, but Madrid managed to turn the tables again, with Ramos scoring from the spot. This was the first time in the Spaniard's illustrious career that he scored 10 league goals in a calendar year. Talk about a free-scoring centre-back. Luka Modric is nearing the end of his career, and the Croatian will definitely go down in the history books as one of the greatest players in the club's history. While he might not be able to get a lot of minutes at this stage of his career, the veteran midfielder has still got it. The former Tottenham man scored in the 90th minute to pile up further misery on Barcelona with a classy finish. So as it stands, Madrid are unbeaten in 3 Clásicos, and this gives us a fairly good idea about how much work the current Barcelona team requires. A poor tally of 7 points from 5 games is a very bad start. We're not sure if Bartomeu and company will be showing any patience. Barca were okay for most parts of the encounter, but to be fair, they simply didn't do enough to deserve a win. This Barcelona side featured 3 teenagers in the starting 11. Ansu Fati, Serginho Dest and Pedri. Dest became the first American to play in an El Clasico. In fact, both Fati and the American were Barcelona's better performers on a forgettable night for most of their teammates. We would understand if Barcelona fans would question the manager for persisting and playing Philippe Coutinho for 90 minutes even though the Brazilian clearly seemed lost. What was even questionable was that the Dutchman didn't make a change until the 81st minute. By that time, Madrid had found their rhythm and were happy to let Barcelona enjoy more possession. Koeman brought on Antoine Griezmann and Ousmane Dembele way too late, so you can forgive those two for not being able to have any sort of impact on the game. It's also getting a bit worrisome that Frenkie de Jong is not showcasing the form that made him such a hot prospect for Ajax. He's a hard worker for sure and didn't have a bad game. He did well in tight spaces and with his one-touch passing did try to make things happen. However, with a player of his talents he can definitely do more. While a lot of Barca players didn't cover themselves in any glory, Sergio Busquets' latest showing shows that the Spaniard is finished. On a poor night for La Blaugrana, the midfielder was the worst player on the field. Madrid fully took advantage of his inability to track back, and every time he had the ball, he slowed things down for his teammates and was more of a liability than anything else. It would be unfair to lay the blame on Lionel Messi. There were signs of that vintage Messi we all love in the first half. His dribbling and passing was on point, and it was his pass that led to the equaliser. However, in the second half, Messi sort of disappeared and could have benefited from more support which never arrived. Barca were outshot, outscored, and managed to have fewer shots on target than the visitors. While neither side went for a very high press, Madrid always looked more dangerous when transitioning from defence to attack. Barcelona's defending was a shambles in all honesty. There was a clear lack of speed and sharpness when it came to awareness. The centre-backs weren't good at tracking runners, while Busquets is no longer the protective layer in front of defence he used to be. The World Cup winner has lost his speed, but Koeman still prefers to start him. But if you really want to make him start such crucial games, it would be wise to take care of the midfield structure. For almost an hour, the game did seem an even affair. However, eventually Real Madrid started becoming more dangerous. A lot of plaudits have flown in for Fati, but we can't forget that Serginho Dest had a really good game too. The young American started as a right-back, was really solid in defence, and was equally good when going forward. In fact, he was very creative and successfully completed some neat dribbles. Neto had to pick the ball from the back of the net twice, but the Brazilian shouldn't feel disappointed from a personal point of view. With Ter Stegen out injured, Neto showed just why he deserves a starting spot with an amazing save to deny Karim Benzema. A double save right at the end of the game and a sensational block from a Sergio Ramos volley made sure that Barcelona didn't end up on the wrong side of yet another embarrassing scoreline. He might be deputising for the German, but Neto is definitely a keeper who deserves to be given more chances to start games. For Real Madrid, Zidane would be eager to build on this result. Yes, it wasn't their best performance, but they will take a 3-1 win over their rivals any given day. Now though, Real Madrid will be looking to be more consistent as they aim to retain their La Liga crown. Barcelona, on the other hand, have several issues to iron out, especially at the back. Let's hope that Koeman gets sufficient time to do that.